I'm trying out new hair.
What do you mean? Is this like a hair transplant thing, like in The Simpsons?
No, I'm
Have you got a criminal's hair?
No, what I'm doing is usually what I did was after I washed my hair, I'd get a brush and a comb and like part it directly down the middle. But now what I'm doing is I'm just brushing it all the way back and then shaking my head.
Wow. Well, it looks great.
Does it actually?
No.
Oh my god, Simon's just teleported.
Siwan, you are so laggy tonight. It's unbelievable.
That was terrifying.
Everybody's still here.
That was so scary. It was just like you were just like really calmly sat back, and then all of a sudden on your phone.
Oh no!
Oh, my face is gonna turn the same colour as my jumper.
I'm really struggling for a moan.
You could moan about how hair doesn't grow on the tip of your head.
Right, I'm ready to go. Oh, hello everyone! Welcome to the Filmian Podcast, where this week we're doing spooky, scary horror movie franchises, especially the ones that make the most ka-chiga-chiga money. I'm your host, it's Sander Langwiston. I'm joined this week by a couple of scary movie franchises. They are Joe.
Hello, fellow Halloweeners. Wieners.
And Siwan.
Hello.
I'm going to continue this voice now. Oh Christ! What have I become?
You've dug yourself into a hole now, mate.
My hands are hurting. I keep shaking them. This week we're looking at. It's me, by the way. I promise. We're looking at the highest-grossing film franchises in the horror genre. These are all adjusted grosses. I have the original grosses as well. I've done so much fucking maths. It's incredible. So we're gonna go through them. We've got 15 here, I think. I think there's 15. I want to say there's 15. Why haven't I ranked them properly? Oh god.
Maybe you should count them.
Maybe I should count them. I think there's 16. 16. There's 16 of them, but we'll go in depth about like 10 of them, and it should be fun. I hope. Joe has a question.
I was just gonna say one thing we can guarantee, and it will be fitting with Halloween, is that it will be gross.
Oh! Fuck yes! That's amazing. That's so good, Joe.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I don't know if this is sarcasm.
No, that was actually really. I'm actually really impressed. That was really good.
Oh,
that was actually really
you
good.
could re-record the intro and use that.
No, I'm not going to do that. It was terrible. First, Joe crying? Joe sad? Before we get into the main topic, though, we're of course going to do the Tell Me Moan section. So, who wants to tell me moan? Who's got a moan for me? Please tell me moan. Go on, Suan. You look ready to moan.
See
You're a child, Joe. You're such a child.
Well, I don't know. You said it.
I don't know. Do I do the moan or do I do my observation? Because my moan isn't that much of a moan, is it?
You can do both.
Okay, right. Can I do an extra moan about my Wi-Fi being really shit?
You can do that, yeah, sure.
You could do all of them.
All of the above.
Yeah.
We've got loads of time.
Right. So the moan is what, literally came out, an hour ago. Joe, it's really distracting when you're just laughing.
Sorry.
Oh, honey, you're so out of sync, though. Your face is moving about 5 seconds after we hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wait, but can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I'll put my camera off. You can just look at fucking the clown.
Christ.
There you go.
There was a clown with
you
the
mean?
camera on.
What do you mean? Shut up. That's just like
I'm so
no.
sorry, I'm ripping
I
into
don't
you
want to
this
do my
episode.
moan anymore. Joe's bullying me.
Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
No, that's my moan. Joe's bullying me.
I'll bully you if you don't do it.
Christ.
Right.
Swan, fucking talk.
I was literally getting ready to talk. Right.
Come on, Siwan.
Right. Shut up.
I don't know
Okay.
why she hasn't done it yet. Oh, come on.
Oh my god. My moan, I guess, is something that literally was tweeted an hour ago about something Matthew Vaughn said about Star Wars. And I'll quote it for you, saying that he thinks there should be a reboot and only focus on the Skywalker family. Now, I don't know if he's aware, but there's 9 films that kind of talk about the Skywalker family. So I don't know what Star Wars he's been watching, but yeah, I don't think Star Wars needs a reboot to focus on the Skywalker family, considering it exists.
I don't think we should worry too much because Matthew Vaughn's made only one good film, and that was the first Kingsman.
Whoa! Matthew Vaughn's made a couple of good movies.
Kick-Ass is terrible.
Kick-Ass is good. X-Men First Class is good.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about
Stardust
that.
is
Okay.
good.
Joe should do
That's
his
a bit of an
homework.
odd one. Stardust, I thought that was Neil Gaiman.
He wrote it. He didn't direct it. Matthew Vaughn directed it.
Oh, Cribbins, alright.
Bernard?
Matthew Vaughn. What else did he make? He's made some other good movies. I've heard Layer Cake's good.
Never heard of
He won't like that because it's Leia.
that.
I
Princess
actually didn't
Leia.
get that one. Oh,
Yeah.
yep. Fuck me. But yeah, he's made
No.
4 good movies.
Wow. 4.
So, hey, how many good movies have you made?
I made quite a few successful YouTube videos. Oh, okay, sorry.
Go on, Suan. So what? So the quote was about Skywalkers. Something. I don't care.
Yeah, he wanted to basically say... What? I already quoted it! Were you not listening?
Sandy, you're so bloody
I
rude.
actually have. I'm really. It was just.
See what? Just talk over him.
talk
Just
over
talk
me,
over
please.
I finished. That was the moan. I've said my piece.
Didn't you have an observation as well?
Oh, my observation. Sure, okay, fine. Last night, Mr. Joseph Cook here said that Halloween was on BBC One and that he was going to
Yeah.
watch it, right? While I was watching something
Yeah.
else. So then I finished my film, turned the TV back on, and Halloween was on BBC One. But then mine had about half an hour maybe to go. And then Joe just turned around saying, "Oh no, I'm finished." But apparently he also went
finished it.
back. He went back apparently 15 minutes from like when it started broadcasting live on iPlayer. But he still finished half an hour before I did when mine was on TV.
It makes no sense.
So Joe apparently did
was it-
time travel.
Were you stuck in daylight savings or something? Was that what happened?
I don't know. We don't know.
That is very bizarre. But I knew that Halloween was on TV last night because I spoke to my nan earlier and she said that it was on TV. So I told her what we were
Did
doing.
your nan watch it?
Hi, Xander's nan.
Hello. She's not listening.
Oh.
That is weird. Do you know what's even weirder? Is that Joe did a review on Letterboxd of it and gave it 3.5 stars, and I would like some retribution. I would like an explanation.
What did you give it?
Me, Halloween's like one of the best horror movies ever made, and it's one of my favourites. It's 5 stars immediately.
Wait, no, it's not
This was
the
Halloween
original one.
2018.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, Joe was right on that. 3.5 stars is pretty good.
There's like so many
I
Halloween
thought it
films
was-
called
I thought it was
Halloween
the
that yeah,
original.
you do need to specify.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Nan. I thought you knew cinema. There's 13 of them. There's 13 Halloween films, you know.
But
quite
how
a
many's
few,
like
quite a few.
just called Halloween and nothing else? Like 3?
3 of them. There are 3 of them just
Fuck
called
yeah.
Halloween. I know.
There you go.
Nutty.
I doubt they're putting the Rob Zombie one on TV, so
Fucking hope not. Christ.
put it on Channel 5 or
What a
something.
terrible movie. That's a weird one.
Yeah, time travel.
Okay. Time travel. Yeah, cool. Great. Joe, talk to me. Moan to me.
Zed, you're such an asshole. My moan is I'm trying to get rid of a TV at the moment on Facebook. And basically, I've listed it for about £200, which I think is fair. It's less than what I paid for it. And the hope was that someone would message me and go, "Hey, I will buy that," and
That is
I'd be like,
generally
"Cool,
how selling things work.
you can
yeah.
come collect it." Exactly. And within the first hour of posting it, I got 5 like fake accounts of scammers saying, "Hi, is this available?" I'm like, "Well, yes, because I've listed it." And I checked their accounts, and one of them, I could tell they were fake because they changed from a white person to a black person. They kept changing who they were in their profile picture. I was like, okay, I think something's wrong here. And then, like, recently I got one that's real. I got that yesterday, and they started by saying, "Hi, is this still available?" Of course it's still available. It's still listed. This winds me up so much. And then they asked, "Okay, how much would you like for it?" It literally says on the post, "You dingus." And then he asked a load of questions, and I gave him answers, and he seems interested. And he was like, "Oh, what's the best price you can do for me, bud?" And I'm just thinking to myself, the price that I bloody listed! That's the best price I can
does not
do.
live to haggle.
No, I don't haggle with Facebook nincompoops.
Facebook dwellers.
Joe
You
is
know,
not a people person.
Facebook
apparently.
dwellers. I'm not a people person, no. This is why I hate socializing. But Facebook's like just the bane of my existence, and I don't know. I'm just trying to sell a TV. It's simple. It says the price, it says it's available, it says the area in which you can buy it. So all you need to message me is questions about the TV. Not if it's available, not how much it is. Just tell me if you want it or not. And when you'll pick it up. It's as simple as that.
Love
Yeah?
it.
Totally.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, I never sell anything on the Facebook Marketplace for that specific reason. I'd rather just throw it in the bin than deal with people.
They're full of doofuses. So many doofuses on Facebook.
For sure, man. For
Doofuses.
sure. Stupid.
Shut up,
You're so
Steven.
stupid. Sound like
Stupid
me now, bro.
doofuses.
You said that's so stupid, man.
I picked up the lingo.
Okay, so my moan is gonna come in.
Oh wait, you're doing one too. Okay.
My
Shut
moan
up, Joe.
is gonna come at you guys in. This is a visual moan, all right. I will
Oh.
describe it as best I can for the listeners. But for you two, this is going to be
Three?
great fun.
Wait, who else is
Me, I
there?
picked me for some reason. So I caught up with some friends of mine the other night. Shout out Akeisha and Lucy.
You got other friends?
I do have other friends, yeah, and I went to film school with them. They're doing really well, and it's amazing to hear. But you know what isn't amazing? Getting completely rinsed.
Oh, I thought you were gonna. I thought it was gonna be someone
No,
else.
no. So
I thought it was gonna be me interrupting
oh yeah,
your call.
yeah, no. Separately, Joe called me halfway through this call, and I answered thinking it's an emergency. I said, "Bro, what do you want? I'm busy." He was like, "Oh, I'm bored." I was like, "Okay." He said, why don't you call Siwan? He was like, "Oh, Siwan's doing something. I know she's busy." And I said, "Okay. Quick question before I go: if you knew Siwan wasn't busy tonight, who would you have called?" And Joe didn't say anything, so I hung up.
I felt really bad after that call.
You
by the
should.
way. I
Fuck.
I'd call both of you at the same time. It'd be a group call. That's the answer.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a good answer. Good answer.
No, I'm never telling you the answer.
I already know.
Joe,
the answer,
not
Joe.
answering is an answer.
Yeah, that was my answer.
Why didn't
Right.
you just lie?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
The last time I saw these guys was back in June, and it was at a little summer garden party. It was really nice, and we got some pictures together. And I actually hadn't seen the pictures, so I asked them to send me through. And this was one of them. Now it's them two sort of talking and looking about, and it's me stood, and for some reason my hand is at a very awkward angle. And they didn't notice this until I sent it them, and I pointed out and said, "What the fuck is my hand doing?" And so
it's
then
like you're trying to scoop something up from the back.
It does look like my hand is trying to scoop something, but it's at such a weird angle. And so they zoomed into it, and now that is our group chat name is called Xander's Hands, and the
Nice.
group picture is my hand. And I'll be honest, my ego didn't need that the other night. So
It looks a bit like a foot.
it looks ridiculous. I was begging.
I don't like
I
that.
was begging for the live photo.
Oh, no, do you know what it looks like? It looks like a single finger, sort of.
I was begging for the live photo. I was like, please send me the live photo so I could choose the right one. And they were like, we don't have it. It's gone. It's like, you fuckers. So
That is incredible.
So my moan is my hand. There you go.
What a mo.
Yeah, this week we're going to look at the highest grossing horror movie franchises of all time. I've gone through all the biggest franchises in horror. This is all Hollywood releases, so apologies if there's some Chinese horror franchise that's grossed like $5 billion somewhere. You're not on the list.
That seems oddly specific. Have you got some in mind?
No. So I've gone through a bunch of these, and I've done so much maths, and it took a while, but I'm really proud of what I did. So and I hope you guys do enjoy.
Do you want a round of applause?
Fucking yes, I would love a round of applause, Joe.
Well, it won't pick up on audio anyway, so.
Okay. I heard it, Siwan. Thank you.
I thought it was someone else.
So we're gonna go
Shut up,
through.
Joe.
We're gonna go through the biggest 10, and we're gonna just discuss them and maybe discuss their impact or whatever, and maybe if we've seen any. But before we get to the 10, I want to run you guys through the 6 prior to that. So all but one of these movies have grossed, adjusted for inflation, over $1 billion worldwide.
That's pretty good.
That's like a lot of money, especially
Wait, what,
for
all the
horror.
movies together?
Yeah, so as a franchise, bar
Right.
one, and one of them may surprise you. But before we get into this, make sure you are following us on Spotify and subscribed on our YouTube channel and following us on Instagram and Twitter for updates and posters. We release these episodes every single week on a Monday morning, so make sure you are tuned into every single episode so you don't miss any. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please.
Please. So
Thank you.
the only one that is on this list, because I thought it would have been on this list immediately, that didn't gross over $1 billion worldwide, adjusted for inflation, was Insidious. So the Insidious franchise has 5 movies, and adjusted for inflation has grossed $881 million, which is like
Alright.
that's good considering most of
Yeah.
them cost like maybe 5 million, 10 million at a push. So like that's a really good return on investment. But
Decent profit.
yeah, you'd assume that it'd have made more because it's such a well-known one, but it didn't.
How many movies
Anyway.
are in that franchise?
There are 5.
He just said that, Joe.
I did just say that.
Gotta
Did
learn
you?
to listen, Lou.
I'm so sorry. I'll do better.
Oh, I love you, Suan. Right. Number 15. We're into the $1 billion now. We're just going to rifle through these ones. So it's another franchise with 5 installments. There is rumored to be a 6th one on the way. It's Final Destination. Now, Final Destination has only just crossed this. It's 1 billion and 10 million. So it's literally
Whoa.
just crossed it. And before inflation, it's only grossed 666 million. Which actually, looking at that's actually
nice.
quite scary because it's all about like death and the devil and shit.
That's
So-
satisfying.
That's really satisfying. Although if you round up, then it's 667, unfortunately.
That's not round up.
Oh.
But most of this comes from the inflation of the earlier films. Like they're from like the early 2000s, late 90s, and a big jump up for the fourth film, which grossed nearly $200 million, which is really good. Anyway, I promised I wouldn't go into these. I'm really sorry. Number 14 may surprise you. It's a big
You've
one.
said this for all of them.
It's a big one, right? It is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, I've only seen one of them films.
So
And
you'd
it wasn't the original.
assume because it's so iconic that it had made like tons of money, but over 9 movies, Nightmare on Elm Street has only grossed $1.03 billion.
Oh, that's not fair then.
9 of them?
Like,
have done
surely
that? Sorry?
surely Final Destination and Insidious should be above it if it's got, like,
Less
per
films.
average. Yeah, if it's got less
Per
films.
average, we're not doing per average though. We're doing total.
Oh, maybe we
We
should.
should.
Let's
Well,
change this. Come on, Zach. Let's rewrite
You
this
do the
script.
maths next time, Joseph.
You only call me Joseph when you're mad at me.
Sorry, Joe. I'm really sorry, Joe.
There you go,
Where
you're
did
back
I
to
put
Joe
it?
now.
So, A Nightmare on Elm Street, actually, if you don't adjust for inflation, because all the films were released in like the 80s and 90s, it actually totals to 490 million. So a lot of inflation doing a lot of the legwork there. At number 13 is, ironically, Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's nice.
satisfying.
With 12 movies, it is just under $1.1 billion worldwide.
Jesus.
And yet, 12. No, sorry, not 13. It's 12 movies, and that has grossed even less. So altogether, it's $467 million worldwide without adjusting for inflation. And do you guys have any idea off the top of your head what the highest grossing movie of this franchise is? A little
About
hint.
that, I'd say about
it's
fucking 50 million.
It's the same movie that is the highest grossing in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
The 5th one.
It's Freddy vs. Jason, the crossover.
Oh.
They had a crossover event,
Ah.
which grossed $116 million at the time. So that's...
Wait, so what film does
Really
that go
helps them out.
into, or have you added that into both films? Both
I've added that into both.
franchises?
Because it's part of both.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's both.
Is this a bad time to ask what's inflation?
So...
For God's
oh,
sake.
God.
I don't
So,
know.
Inflation is like... So, if you have a pound right now, that pound is not going to be worth a pound in 20 years. Because...
Do you know how Freddo's when we were kids was like 10p and now it's like 50?
Okay.
That is
So-
inflation.
So like so if I was to go back in time and I had £20, if I went to 1940 and I had £20, that'd be a
buy
lot.
That'd be like £100, wouldn't it?
More than that. It'd be a lot of money, and so I'd be able to do a lot more with it. Whereas now, £20, it's not as much because inflation, because things are more expensive, and so inflation calculators exist like this. So this is just to see if this movie was to release now and it had the same box office run, how much money would it have made in today's
So
money?
although it so like for example, this isn't accurate. If it made 20 million back then, if
Yeah.
it was released now, that might be like 35 million.
Exactly.
Ah, this concept is simple. Okay.
Yes.
Joe gets
so
inflation.
So with
I
Friday
get
the
inflation.
13th, it's actually the inflation has actually almost doubled its total gross.
That sounds like an
Well,
Always Sunny
over
episode. Joe understands inflation.
Joe understands inflation. But yeah, that's 2 horror icons, not even in the top 10, which is crazy.
So what other ones are there? Like, I can't think of 10.
Well, you'll have
Wait
to
for Xander
find
to
out.
finish.
No, that was a sort of like segue.
Yeah, good one. I
Oh.
like it. At number 12, it's the found footage series, Paranormal Activity.
Oh,
That has
that's
so
grossed,
for
adjusted for inflation, $1.2 billion over the course of 6 movies.
I thought you were going to say Cloverfield.
No, absolutely not. There's only 3 of
Aww.
them. And one of them went straight to Netflix.
And whose fault was that?
The movies. It was terrible.
Xander's fault.
It's Xander's fault.
Yeah.
Xander's in charge of Netflix releases.
There is another
Xander,
Paranormal
pay your
Activity
writers.
movie, but it got released on Paramount Plus, so that's not. It didn't have a box office gross, so it's not on here.
Yeah.
Number 11 to wrap up the bottom 6, though the honourable mentions, is one of Hamish's and Alex's favourite franchises. It's Predator.
Oh.
So Predator has grossed over the course of, again, 6 movies, $1.25 billion. And it lands in our number 11 spot.
That's pretty
And
good.
yes, I should say, in the Predator one, I have counted Alien vs. Predator and Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
Does that mean
Well, one
aliens
of those
are
is
gonna
dog
play
shit, though, so.
Maybe it'll
Spoilers.
come back later, yeah.
it? Stay tuned to find out.
Okay, so now we get into the top. Now we get into the top 10, the big boys. Okay. So these ones all have grossed over $1.3 billion, which that's like a lot of money. I can't
I'd
imagine how
love
much
that money
there
in
is.
my pocket, so.
Please, any of you, please give it me. Give me money, please.
Spoke to the podcast.
Yeah. So in at number 10 is a more recent one, and it's a franchise that is still ongoing. It's Scream. It had its latest installment release earlier this year. So 6 movies. It's made just under $1.4 billion.
That's pretty good.
That's
I don't know if
really
I'd expect
good.
it to have more or less.
In terms of money or movies in the franchise?
Money. I know this.
Money. Money. We've got to have money.
I've got money.
Well, this 6th film that's just come out has made almost as much as the first 2 movies. But the reason it's now in the $1 billion club is because of the inflation on those first 2 that released in the late 90s. Those are huge hits, by the way. Like, in today's money, both of them, the whole trilogy, all 3 of them nearly making like $300 million each. That's nuts.
That's not bad.
So
Should we talk about how much we think those films deserve that as well?
absolutely, that's a great idea. Joe, do you think that Scream deserves to be a top 10 highest-grossing horror franchise?
I don't think so.
Really?
I really like the first Scream, and that's the extent of it. I think the 5th and the 6th one were just okay. I don't like how meta it
Jesse.
was.
Oh no, I see. That's like my favorite thing
I'm
about
so
Scream.
sorry.
They're
Like maybe if I
really
watched
clever.
Scream 2 and Scream 3, that'd help. But like the way it is,
Have you not seen them?
no.
Oh my
I
god,
don't
Joe,
think you're allowed
Scream
to
is
comment
so
then.
good.
Oh, but I'm just talking about the first and
No, I'm kidding. Carry on.
and the Sid, not the Sydney Smith. What's her name? Wednesday.
General
Who
Take.
plays Wednesday? The General Ortega ones.
Yeah,
Like, I just think
that's
like
5
they're
and
too
6.
much like, oh look at us, we're taking the mick out of horror, and that makes
That's
us
what
really
Scream
clever.
is.
And
Joe, that's the entire franchise.
That's.
but I
what
think the only one that
Scream
does it well
is
is the first one because the gimmick's not lost. It's not like, oh,
But that's
this
the
is
gimmick.
the 5th or 6th time we're doing this. So
But that's
like it
just
acknowledges it's a
gimmicks.
reboot. It's like, oh come on. Maybe I'm just really cynical with the franchise. Maybe I
I
should
think you
rewatch
are.
them all.
You should.
But I
They're good
really do
movies.
like that first
Watch
one,
them
also because
all, they're
Shaggy's in
fun.
it. But like,
Shaggy is in it.
yeah.
I still think he should return. Bring him back
Maybe in
to
the
life,
next
I don't
one.
care
Maybe
how.
in the next one.
I don't
Well,
care.
the 7th one,
Do
they've
it.
gotten Christopher Landon to direct, and he has made he made Freaky, the one with Vince Vaughn.
Oh, the guy from Anchorman, yeah.
He made the Happy Death Day movies,
Happy Death Day.
and those
are
are
fun.
really good and fun. So I'm hyped for Scream 7. I have a feeling he's going to smash this.
Who directed the
Cool.
last one?
That was the guys from Radio Silence. I don't know their names, but they made Scream 5 and 6, and they made Ready or Not.
Oh, I like.
Okay, I like Ready or Not. Well, I guess that explains why she's in the beginning of. Is it the sixth one?
Yeah.
The recent one? Yeah.
In at number 9 is the smallest franchise on the list. It only has 2 movies.
And it's made.
Oh, can we
That's
guess?
9.
Can we guess?
Give it a guess. Give it a guess.
The Nun.
No.
Ugh. No, she's she's in the Conjuring universe, so she wouldn't be the nun.
Okay,
Wait,
that's
wait.
clever.
Give it a minute. Give it
2
a minute.
movies.
What's 2 films?
Don't Google the question.
What?
The Thing.
It's not The Thing. We
Two
literally
movies.
talked
Wait,
like
if it
3
has-
weanga ago about how The Thing made no money at the time.
Joe,
Two
wait.
movies.
If it's made over 1.3 billion, it has to be recent. Does that make sense, Sander? Am I getting it
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're getting that.
Yes.
Unless
okay, right.
inflation.
Nice. He's just said I'm right.
Okay.
What's a recent 2-film horror?
I'm gonna have to cut most of this out because you guys are taking ages on this.
No, we're not. It's the thought process.
What's Siwan's picture right now?
Reese Shearsmith?
Oh, It!
It.
It!
I was thinking, what,
Okay,
the
yeah,
League
that's
of
fair.
Gentlemen movies? There's only one of them.
It. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 collectively made $1.4 billion.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's
that
just
makes
2 movies, and that is also there's no inflation on that. Well, barely
Yeah,
any.
recent.
That like not without inflation, it was 1.17 billion, but now it's
Still pretty
1.44
good.
billion. So yeah, incredible success from those movies, especially the first one. That first one's so
That first
good.
one's so good.
It's so good.
I don't like the old woman who like just suddenly pauses in the second one. I remember seeing that as a kid when the trailer came out, and I actually think I physically shit myself.
Did you say as a kid?
Or younger Joe, okay? You know what I
Joe Young?
meant.
Joe Young.
Joe Young. No, I was watching a reaction to it, and like I was just like sort of like just fiddling, and then I looked at the screen, and then she just stopped and like, oh hang on, I haven't even paused the video. Why is she frozen? It was creepy.
Yeah, I think those movies. I think the second one is absolutely overly long. It has a lot of problems, and there's a reason it didn't make as much money as the first one. But the first one is so unbelievably good.
It
But
really is.
I think it deserves this spot.
Yeah. Shush.
Are we agreed?
Yeah,
Phone just went off, sorry.
yeah.
Yes.
In at number 8 is a franchise that has actually released another installment since I've made this. So it is only still classed as 9 movies on here, but it has
wait.
grossed more than that now.
Oh,
When did you make this
Saw.
list?
It is Saw.
Oh, Joe
Ugh.
genius.
So it would actually now, I think, be at number
There's 10
7.
movies,
It would have been.
right?
It would be at number 7 now, but on this list, because I made this list before the release of Saw X, it is currently at number 8 with $1.47 billion. That's like
Very good.
a fuckload.
These films are only good when the traps are as good. Where the traps are good.
Well,
Saw is only as good as its traps.
there are, like I said, there are 9 of them on here. I want you guys to give me a number as to which you think is the highest grossing one.
The first one.
No. Like the second or third one.
It's the third one.
Why?
Because people loved the first one, and so came out for the second one, and people loved the second one, and so came out for the third one.
Did they watch the same second one that I watched?
Apparently so.
That was garbage.
It was hot garbage, but
They're all
people
hot garbage.
give me the shit, manja.
It was garbaggio.
So they they kept going with this, and then they sort of dipped with Saw 6, and then the 3D craze came back, so then
Can I
Saw
stop doing
3D came out.
movies?
And that made double of the 6th one, and now you're seeing a gradual fade away again, which is. But this new one has just come out and done decent numbers, so overall, I would like to see a comeback of the Saw franchise. Having just shotgunned all 10 of them, I think they're a lot of fun. So, yeah. And actually, this is the first one in the list that has grossed over $1 billion without inflation.
Well, hey, that's cool.
So on
But
a
it
normal
does have
list,
10 movies in it,
it does have 10 movies in it.
so not as impressive.
Well, speaking of not very impressive, number 7 has 13 movies. It is the biggest franchise on this list.
Oh,
13 films.
is it Halloween?
It is Halloween.
Oh, go
We
Joe.
talked about. We mentioned that earlier. To
Yay.
be fair.
No, I don't. I literally don't remember how many movies you said were in it.
So that has grossed $1.5 billion worldwide.
Only that?
Only that, yeah,
For
from
13
13
films?
movies, yeah. Well, to be fair, a lot of these middle ones, like the first one, obviously we mentioned that in the John Carpenter episode, made incredible money. And then, after the first one, the rest of them, from the information I could get, the rest of them didn't get a worldwide release. Like, worldwide releases wasn't...
They didn't get a worldwide premiere.
because it wasn't-
Premiere.
Because it wasn't as... Like, the worldwide audience wasn't as big back then. So they just didn't... It seems like it wasn't as important. So most of these are just what they grossed in America. And there's so many of them that didn't even pass 100 million. There's some in the middle
What-
that didn't even
What did
pass
the Rob Zombie
20.
ones do?
The Rob Zombie ones made together 120.
All of them together.
Adjusted for inflation, both of them made 180.
So one of them made 80 and one of them made 120.
Yeah,
What?
that's 200.
What?
So one of them made 60.
made
One of them...
Yeah, exactly, Joe. Fuck me.
What's this maths?
And then obviously the
Oh.
Rebookable trilogy came out and really stat padded, which it needed.
Yeah.
So
the first one's very good.
the first one is quite good. So yeah, that's Halloween, and that is all of the classic slasher films done.
Oh.
Really?
There are no more classic
Is there
like-
not?
slasher films
guess
in this
not.
list.
But are
Uh,
there other slasher
Well, 7?
films?
We are at number 7, so there's still 6 more.
Oh.
And the next one actually will surprise you. It surprised me. I was very shocked by this.
This seems like one of these clickbait articles. Like, you won't believe what Susan Boyle looks like now.
That's what I'm going for, okay? This next one, over the course of 5 movies, has made $1.7 billion.
It's a lot.
Money, money, money.
And it's the Hannibal Lecter franchise.
Huh? Really?
Yeah. I swear to God. So, 5 movies, right? The first movie in this
Yes.
franchise is called Manhunter,
I have seen this.
okay? And that made, adjusted for inflation, we're talking 24 million. So not great. The next one, Silence of the Lambs. Incredible
I've seen
movie.
this.
Huge hit.
Very good.
Grossed 612 million.
Okay.
Again,
yeah,
adjusted
accurate.
for inflation. The next one, Hannibal, which saw the return of Anthony Hopkins, 607 million.
Jesus Christ.
I have not seen this movie.
Maybe you
I
should.
didn't think... I probably should. Clearly, everyone else did. At the time, it made 350 million. Like, that's like... There was a point when Barbie had made that much, and I was like, man, that's a really big hit. Like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Then there was Red Dragon, which earned 355 million. And then Hannibal Rising was 121. So altogether, yeah, 1.7 billion.
How did they get 5 films
That's
out of this
impressive.
franchise? Like, Manhunter
It just eats
and
people.
Silence of the Lambs I can understand. Although I haven't seen Silence of the Lambs.
You
The-
haven't
the
seen
rest-
Silence? Oh my goodness,
No,
Joe.
I haven't seen it.
Watch Silence of
I
the
saw
Lambs.
Manhunter the other day because my dad was like, Joe, I want you to watch this with me. So I was like, okay.
But yeah, no, just what a weird. I would not have thought this. If you're
I'm
talking
shocked
about
that it's
biggest
higher
franchises,
than like Freddy and.
would you? So you say
Jason.
you're shocked? You were shocked
Yes.
at number 6.
I can confirm that I was shocked at number 6.
Wow, I can't believe it. I mean, it's good to see that like actual good movies make money sometimes, isn't it? I feel like we kind of lose our faith in humanity when we see that Minions makes like $2 billion and we see other films like
Minions is
flopping.
amazing.
And then Morbius makes more $1 billion.
Exactly. Right, we'll get into the top 5 then. Number 5, I'll be honest, is it is a horror franchise, but I would
Are we
say
stretching the credulity of this?
I would say it's the furthest from it. But on every website I looked at, they had this as horror, straight flat horror.
All right.
So I'm gonna go with it, and I'll let you guys be the judges. Number 5 is the Resident Evil franchise, which I would consider more like action, but I guess it is horror as well.
I guess it's a hybrid genre of
Yeah, like
a bit of
Underworld.
genre
or whatever.
hybridization of
Genre hybridization.
That's the first time I've said that in months.
There are
between
also
action and horror.
You missed saying it.
No.
there are also 10 movies in this franchise.
10?
10, and it's made $1.78 billion.
Yeah, but how good are these movies?
Mostly terrible. The biggest one of the bunch, adjusted for inflation, was Resident Evil Afterlife, which was the 4th one in the live action series. By the way, as well, there's some of these that are like animated ones. So there's one called Resident Evil Degeneration, which I think came out the same year as Afterlife, and that didn't even make $1 million. Then there's the one that came out a couple of years ago over lockdown, Welcome to Raccoon City, that only made 47. So there's a few here, but then those action heavy ones, like the final chapter, made $389 million worldwide.
Well, it can't be the
like a
final
long-
chapter if there's more films after it.
I think it's the final chapter of that saga.
Here's a
Mia
pet
Jovovich.
peeve. You mentioned
Who's going to see these films?
Resident Evil Resurrection. I hate films that keep using like da-da-da Resurrection. There are so many films that are da-da-da Resurrection. Come up with a new name. Find a different synonym.
Name me 5. Name me 5.
Halloween Resurrection.
No, not you. Not you,
Yeah.
Joe. He's the one complaining. I want Joe to
Halloween
name me
Resurrection.
5.
Resident Evil Resurrection. Alien Resurrection?
By the way, there is no Resident Evil Resurrection.
You just said there was!
It was Retribution
Put your hand down.
and Degeneration.
Let's
Somebody
continue.
that's been done goofed.
Let's continue.
Right, I've got nothing else to say about Resident Evil. I've only seen the first
Neither
one,
have
and
I.
I hated it. So we're just gonna move on from this one.
Yeah, I've
The
not seen
fourth
this
one, we are now entering the $2 billion club. So everything from here onwards has grossed over. Actually, it's over 2.5 billion.
Whoa,
Really?
that's
Yes.
really good.
And
That's
this
like
one,
2.5 Titanics.
So without inflation even, this one is absolutely the highest grossing franchise. It's grossed without inflation 2.1 billion. There
How
are
many movie? Oh, you're about to say.
there are 8 movies, but that does not include one that is currently in cinemas right now. That again was
Conjuring.
released after it. It's the Conjuring universe.
Conjuring.
Is there a Conjuring film? Oh, the
The
Nun
Nun
2.
2.
The Nun.
Yes.
I'm
and
a
these
sucker
have
for those
been-
films. I love them.
They've waned on me.
I like the second one.
the second Conjuring.
I like that whole British
No.
paranormal.
British?
In like a...
Oh yes.
I love British film, I do. Cup of tea, fish and chips, pint of lager. With a bit of Conjuring in the pub.
The highest grossing one of all of these is actually The Nun.
Ugh, that
And
bitch.
how disappointed they were when they
It
went
was
to go
so.
see it.
See, that's it. There's so many of these that are just terrible, and
To
I
be fair,
I
they
don't.
did set up the nun really well in the second one, and then she keeps coming back, and then the
Yeah.
actual nun film was just
Terrible.
No, because
yeah,
the
no,
2nd one was scary because we had. I think before the
That
film started, I was
bitch.
sat next to you, see one, and you were like, "Joe, if you get too scared, hold my hand." It was one of those sort of films.
yeah.
See,
because,
I just-
she scares me. I don't like her. She's an ugly.
She's
scary
a creepy little bitch. And
The-
I'm sorry, no offense to the actress in real life, but I didn't expect her to actually look like the nun.
Oh my god! Right, okay, moving swiftly on. I think these
God forgive me.
movies. I think these movies are exactly what's wrong with modern horror. With a lot of modern horror, anyway, like big stuff that you see,
Explain.
like with a lot of marketing. It's all these paranormal. I've really fallen out of love with paranormal stuff because all the ghosts and demons have very vague powers. Like they can throw you against a wall, they can slam doors, they can lock doors, they can make you like. It can give you visions. They can like cover you in blood. They can create things in your world. They can like take you away. They can possess you. There's just so many. There's an endless list of weird powers they have, and it just doesn't scare me anymore. Yeah, Joe.
I think on top of that, one of my pet peeves with that, and a lot of horrors, is when people are possessed, they give them just a really deep voice. I find it kind of like corny. It's not scary. Like what you could do, combine the high with the low and have them play at the same time. That sounds creepy. Or
Yeah.
like just give them an otherworldly voice, not just your mother sucks cocks in hell. That sort of thing. It's just not very scary. It's just like it
Cheers,
works
sir.
for films like The Exorcist. No, it was a quote from The Exorcist, you penis. It works for that, and it works for like Evil Dead because that's sort of funny horror. I think it is anyway. But like for horror that's trying to be scary, don't just go, "I'm gonna eat you." I don't find that scary.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Do something different.
Should we get into the top three?
Let's do that.
Sure.
So all three of these have grossed over $3 billion worldwide, adjusted for
Jesus
inflation.
Christ.
That is a lot.
These are the
That's
big
like three
boys.
Titanics.
These are the big boys.
Why is Titanic your go-to?
Yeah, Joe, Titanic
don't know.
made $2 billion. What are you talking about?
Really?
Yeah.
Joe doesn't.
That's
know.
like 1.5 Titanics.
Fucking hell.
Christ, right. Number
Yeah,
three.
maths.
Number three. It's it's the antagonist to Predator. It's Alien.
Alien.
Oh,
Sigourney Weaver.
I know this
Joe's,
film.
Joe's getting his Blu-ray out. Amazing.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, this
Blu-rays I ever got.
this franchise is another flat $1 billion grosser without inflation, but with inflation, $3.34 billion.
Jesus.
That's a lot of money. The lowest grossing one of these made 192, and that was AVP 2 Requiem. So
Well, that is awful. So,
that is awful.
out of interest, how much did Prometheus make?
Adjusted
Quite a bit.
537.
How well is that
Oh.
compared to the others?
It is the second highest grossing one.
Okay, I think it
Yeah.
deserves that because I think that is. I don't know if it's unpopular. I think that's one of the best Alien films.
Wow, that isn't.
I
that,
remember
I love
would
that
be a hot
film.
take.
I remember when that came, the first trailer for that came out, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, they're bringing back Alien!" Like I didn't know what it was at the time because there's 2012 on it.
Yeah,
Ish.
2012.
Yeah, so I've been 10. So I was aware of Alien, but then everybody was talking about this Prometheus thing, and it was like, "Oh my god, Alien's back!" And I'm just like, okay, but I remember that being a big thing when Prometheus came out. So
It was
it
huge.
makes sense that it's made that much.
Was it a secret Alien film or was it like we know but we're not going to tell you it's an Alien film?
Yeah, that.
So they didn't say the new Alien film. They just went, "This is Prometheus. Go watch it."
Yeah, and everyone
that's
knew
cool.
it was an Alien film.
How did they know though?
They probably will have
You
talked
just know.
about it in the build-up.
See, they shouldn't have done that, because imagine going to see it and you're like, oh, this is a really cool sci-fi film. The fucking aliens are xenomorph. Like, oh,
Maybe
fuck.
a few people did that.
Because that would be
people probably
really
thought they
cool.
didn't know.
Like, I'd love to have watched Prometheus and known that. Like, I'd seen clips of it online, so I knew, before I watched it in full. But I watched it in full and I thought, this is really good.
Yeah, I think Prometheus is actually a solid movie. It's really pretty.
It's interesting. It's really interesting world building and sci-fi and
Yeah,
horror,
it is.
and it's disgusting in some scenes.
It is.
Like when
it
she's
is.
stapling. Is she stapling herself up, or is she like cutting
She
herself
is.
open?
Yeah.
She is stapling herself.
That
I think
horrifying.
Covenant has its moments.
I think it has
Yeah,
its
it has its
moments, but
moments.
it's trying to be the first Alien film,
Yeah, it's
which it shouldn't have done that.
No,
Like the
it should
final
have been-
act is literally Alien 1.
Yeah,
I
Literally.
I like the Prometheus bits in that film. I think the continuation from that is great, and then it's like, oh no, sorry, we're just gonna do the alien stuff for the third act,
yeah.
and we're gonna get rid of it in the same way. We're gonna eject it into space,
They also did something like they committed a heinous crime. They showed the alien in daylight. Don't do
Yeah, but
that.
it looked cool. It looked cool.
No, because it's then it's the magic's gone. It's CG. You know it's CG.
I like the
Whereas-
spores in that though. Like spores in horror creep me out.
Yes,
Like because it
I
can
like
get
that.
in you. That is creepy.
But we're forgetting about the 1-2 punch of Alien and Aliens, which are two of arguably
Oh, they
the
are
greatest
amazing.
sci-fi movies ever made.
Yeah.
My mum loves those films. She just hates the kid because she thinks the kid's annoying, but otherwise
I
she
remember-
absolutely loves the second film.
What?
I
Newt's great.
I know, I disagree
remember
with her, but
watching-
she just...
I remember watching Alien 2 with C1, and it got to the bit where Ripley's like, I think there's a countdown that goes off or something, and C1 was like, okay, Joe, this is one thing I know about this. The countdown's in real time. And that's really cool. That's
Hey.
so cool, because you're like, oh, so this is real time, this.
Speaking of Titanic, it's big Jim Cameron who made Aliens.
It is!
It is.
He's
Yeah.
good at this stuff, isn't he, sometimes?
Incredible. What do you mean? I'm gonna fight you.
Oh, some
Um,
of his Terminators not.
He only made 2 Terminator films.
Didn't he do Salvation? Is that what it's called?
He didn't make that. No. He will have. He's got his name on all
Oh,
of them as like
that's why.
executive
Okay,
producer.
okay. Ignore Joe.
Apologise.
Sorry.
Alien 3 and 4 in the mud, but they still made a lot of money because the Alien franchise was huge.
Alien 4's okay.
Alien 4 is awful, Joe.
Alien 4 isn't the film trying to make us root for paedophiles and rapists.
That's 3.
That's what I said.
Right, we're gonna move on. Okay, so the top 2 are heavily helped out by their adjusted gross. Okay,
I can't think of 2 more horror franchises. If I'm
one of
honest.
them
I can think of
again
one.
for the 3rd time. This has a movie currently in release, so I don't think
What
it
is
would
out?
change. I don't think it would change the outcome. It would not change the outcome because the
It's out
movie is
now.
currently flopping.
Oh, I know
But-
what it is.
What is
How
it,
is
Siwan?
it?
What is the second biggest, highest grossing horror movie franchise adjusted for inflation?
What is it?
Oh, I don't want to say it now. That's pressure.
Say it.
Is it The Exorcist?
It is The Exorcist.
Oh, thank God.
Oh!
An adjusted gross over 6 releases, I'm going to say. 6 releases. 5 movies, but 6 releases. $3.5 billion. Right?
That's quite a lot. That's
The
like
first...
one
Oh,
and
God,
three
that's a big-
quarter Titanic movie. No, wait, it's not. I've got the maths wrong. but
So
who
the
cares?
first movie, right, made an incredible amount of money, an insane amount.
is good.
It was huge. So
This is good.
adjusted for inflation alone, the first movie made 2.9 billion.
Excuse me,
What?
that's like the highest grossing
That's
in
so,
it.
That's so much.
That's more than Avatar.
Adjusted
more
for
than
inflation,
Titanic.
Yes. But then you've got things like Gone with the Wind that would have made like 4 billion,
Oh, but no one
and
cares
E.T.
about
that would have
old
made 4
stuff.
or 5 billion. So
Oh, okay.
that's that's the kind of numbers we're working with. But then we're forgetting about the sequels for The Exorcist. So there's The Exorcist 2, which made 155. The Exorcist 3, which is considered a cult classic, that's 91.
Is it?
Then I've got here in 2000 they released the director's cut of The Exorcist in cinemas, and that grossed $200 million in cinemas when that came out. The Exorcist: The Beginning released to 126 million, and then there's another one called Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, which sounds like a different movie, but I found out last week it's actually a re-edited version of Exorcist: The Beginning. It's the same movie. Exorcist: The Beginning was so bad that they went back to the drawing board, re-edited the whole film, and then released Dominion. And it made $300,000.
Stellan Skarsgård's in it.
Well,
It's
yeah,
bad.
it's making its little contribution to the fucking 3.5 billion. You know.
Of
Every
course,
little
yeah.
helps.
Every little helps.
Wait, so do you
Um,
think it was better than The Beginning?
I've no
Like,
idea.
have
I've
you
not
seen this?
I've not
Okay.
seen them, no. But I've just learnt this week, which I think is crazy. That's a crazy fact.
So they
That's
just...
funny.
That is weird.
Really weird. But that first Exorcist movie, obviously Carrie and everything, and it's by far the highest grossing film on any of these lists.
'Cause it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's fun. It's funny though. You just see a kid.
Yeah,
staring
there's
at you,
there's
it's funny.
there's moments of humour in it for sure, but it's also horrifying and really well acted, well directed, really well written. The score is amazing.
Looks good.
The cinematography is great.
I watched it was a documentary with Mark Commode, and he was talking about The Exorcist. And I
Yeah.
didn't watch this when I first watched the film. I don't know if it was because it's only in the director's cut, but there's a flashback or a vision of something. I can't remember exactly because I haven't watched the film in a while, but this face flashes for like 2 frames,
Yes.
and it's the devil.
Yes.
And like you see that face, and that is haunting.
it is.
That's creepy because you're like, did I just see that?
Yeah. It's really
That is really
scary.
creepy. Yeah,
Really,
I don't like that.
really good.
I remember I saw it on TV. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go up now.
So yeah, no, that is by far the biggest one here. And
Oh no!
Siwana's just turned her camera on for the first time in about an hour and shown that to Joe. Thank you for that.
That really
forget.
wasn't nice. I really didn't like that.
So, shall we?
I'm sorry.
That
Shall
was
we-
actually scarier than I remember it being. I didn't like
I'm
that.
so sorry,
Yeah.
Joe.
Shall we wrap
Like,
this
because,
up?
like, just quickly though, in my head, I had a vision of what it was, and what you just showed me is far worse than I remember it being. Why did you
I'm
show
so
me
sorry.
that?
Because you told me it was in that Reese picture.
What do you mean?
What? I'm
Can we
so
move
sorry.
on?
So,
Move on.
we'll move on. The number one movie franchise in horror movie history. It's grossed, adjusted for inflation, just under $4 billion. There are 4 movies. And the last movie was released in 1987.
Huh?
What was the franchise?
4 films, 1987.
The last one, the 4th film, was released in 1987.
I have no
One of the
idea.
stars of that movie has recently retired.
Michael Caine.
What horror has he been in?
The Italian Job is not a horror.
Batman?
Has he been in horror?
Apparently so.
Yeah, The
Wait,
original
don't,
movie.
Don't say it.
the-
Don't say it. Yet.
The
Don't
original
say it yet.
movie is regarded as the first ever blockbuster.
What?
I gotta be honest, that didn't help at all.
The third movie was released in 3D.
I forgot. This isn't helping. I don't know.
Lots of horror films are released in 3D. It's not Jaws, is it? That's not horror.
It is Jaws.
Michael
Is
Caine's in
it?
Jaws?
Michael Caine is in Jaws 4: The
Is-
Revenge.
I wouldn't know that.
You haven't seen the first one, which is the important one.
Yeah.
Joe's looking. Joe's confirming. Joe's gonna have egg on his face.
So yeah, Jaws.
Yeah, so obviously the first movie doing most of the heavy lifting again, $2.6 billion gross adjusted for inflation. At the time though, 472 million. That's a huge number for the 70s. Like, people would just keep going, and that's where the term blockbuster came, because people would be queuing up to watch this movie, and they would wrap around the blocks, wrap around the streets, just queuing up to get in because you couldn't book your tickets. So, absolutely incredible.
My mum, just on a tangent, my mum had to do that with I think Close Encounters of the Third Kind was coming out, and she had to queue up, and I think she was one of the last people that was let in for the film, and that was
Yeah.
one of her favourite films.
My dad did it for The Phantom Menace.
Oh,
And he did it for Batman '89. He said they had to, when the BBFC logo thing came up, they had to pause the showing because too many people were cheering and clapping before the movie started, because they were that excited to watch it.
oh my god!
Must have been amazing.
Damn.
But yeah, no, collectively, all four of them, obviously diminishing returns. The second one, a really decent hit, just under $900 million gross, adjusted for inflation. And the other two, much, much lower. But still, Jaws, it's a movie franchise we've not gone back to, which I think is quite nice. Like, there's not been another one
Yeah.
since the one in the 80s, because, I mean, there's been loads of shark movies, but no.
I am surprised that, like, of the reboots that they've done, I'm surprised that one hasn't been rebooted. But you couldn't. I don't think you could. The first one is so good.
I hope.
Yeah,
they don't
what would
take
you
a
do?
10-foot pole.
So there you go. Those are the highest grossing horror movie franchises of all time. Which one is your favourite? Which one wasn't here that should have been? Let us know, either in the comments on YouTube or on the comments on Spotify that you can do, or send us a message on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll read it out in the next episode.
It'd be interesting to see those ranked by, against how many films are in the list as well.
Maybe we'll do that in another episode. Not now. I'm tired.
Ooh.
Before we go, should we do some Sell Me Movies, or a TV show, or a game, or a book if you're a nerd?
Yeah.
I have one. Can I start?
Go for it.
So, one of my favourite movies from the past few years was released back in 2018, which was a great year for movies, by the way. It was called Searching. It starred John Cho. The whole film takes
so
place
good.
on a computer screen, and it follows him trying to track down his missing daughter. I think it's absolutely incredible. It's really tense, thrilling. Every single twist hits you like a ton of bricks. And
it makes you cry.
it makes you cry, but most importantly, the movie is grounded. It feels real. This feels like a real thing that can happen. Every shot looks like it's from a real newspaper, like a news article or whatever. It's really well crafted. They released a semi-sequel this year called Missing. And it stars Storm Reed, who sort of made a big name in A Wrinkle in Time, the Disney film, but she also appeared in a bunch of other stuff. And I really like her as an actress. She's really cool. And it's good to know that, one box office bomb hasn't defined her career, because it could have been really easy for her to just, do that Disney film and then go away. But she's actually kept going, which is really great to see. The problem with this movie is the story. It's so huge and so crazy, and every single twist and turn in the plot, it feels similar to the first one for the first like half. The second half of this movie is fucking bananas. Every single twist is like, well, I wouldn't have guessed that, because it's like almost impossible to guess because of how ridiculous it is. Because like some of them, sure, like there's a big moment towards the end that you're like, okay, I could probably have guessed that if I thought I was watching this kind of movie, but I thought I was watching a realistic drama about someone going missing. But no, I'm not. Okay. I think the performances are really good, and I think there's some problems in the third act as well. It feels a little bit too much like a movie, if that makes sense. Like, there's some shots that are clearly set up so that you can see things happen, and it feels very staged and like very over emotional moments like that wouldn't happen in real life. It feels very movie like, and that's kind of to its detriment. But I think it's a good time, and I think if you don't really read that much into it, if you're not, obviously if you're a fan of the first one, you'll probably go and watch this anyway. But even if you're not, I would suggest go and watch this, because it's a fun mystery, and you can kind of poke to whoever you're watching it with and be like, I think this is going to happen. So I kind of like those movies. They're kind of fun. So Missing, when I watched it, it was $1.99 to rent on Amazon. So maybe go and do that if you've got £2 to spare, or maybe wait for it to be on Netflix or something.
It does pop up on Prime quite frequently, I think.
Yeah. Who's next?
See what you want to.
Well, one of you's go.
Okay. My recommendation. I haven't watched many films between now and last time we recorded, but I watched Halloween 2018 last night, and I'd only seen it once a couple of years ago, and I thought it was okay. And I rewatched it, and I thought this is actually really good. I love a lot of the shots in it, like when I almost called him Jason. When Michael Myers is looking through the window and you can see the reflection of his face, that's really creepy. And then there's some of the kills are really disgusting, like the torch inside their hollowed out head. Sometimes people's necks are just completely broken. It's horrific. I think one issue I have with the film is that I think they show what's under the mask a bit too much in the beginning. I don't want to see his face and bits of his face. But I really dug this film. I really dig it. I like the characters. I think if anyone in the film was going to be called Karen, it should have been Jamie Lee Curtis's character, who looks like a Karen with that hair. And Michael Myers coming back. So not only does she get her guns out, she gets her knives out.
Ah!
Sorry, I love that. But no, I really dug it. I think it's a great. I haven't seen the other Halloween films. I've just seen the original and this one. And as a pairing, I think they're such a great double bill.
Yeah. Don't watch any more.
Don't watch any more.
Leave it at that. Maybe watch Halloween 3, because it's got nothing to do with it.
And also, unlike the first movie, there's more than 2 bits of music. There's a new track. It's got a guitar in it, like electric guitar, and that sounds great.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Having just rewatched this, it really is, like, it's probably the best reboot we've got.
Yeah, as soon as he
like
puts
a
that
legacy
mask
sequel.
on, it's great.
Yeah, it's game over.
Yeah.
It's just a shame the other movies that came after it weren't great.
Would you say, even though they're bad, are they worth a watch to see, like, the continuation? Like, in terms of completion?
If you're interested, do it.
Because I want to see where this goes. I mean, I saw the teaser for the second one, and I saw him walking out of burning buildings. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see other people's thoughts on this. So yeah, go for it, Joe. Watch him. They're great fun.
Okay.
Go on, someone wrap us up.
I'm just going to recommend what I said I'd recommend last time, and that is carry on watching Loki. Because I thought episode 2 was very good again. Episode 3 comes out tomorrow. So, hopefully I can, again, say next week to carry on. But, yeah, after episode 2, I say it's still on a very good high. So, I'll just carry on with that and say Loki again.
Amazing. I did title the last episode Loki Season 2 review.
You cheeky.
Did you?
Yeah.
You are cheeky.
What do you mean, did I? Did you not listen?
Did I? Did I?
Oh,
Did I stutter?
Yeah.
I know I was doing the goat.
Okay. Right. That will do it. Thank you so much for listening. Next week, we have an incredible episode coming your way. We've already recorded it, so we know what happens. But we've got a really special guest. We've got a really special guest. So make sure you are tuned in. We're talking about our favourite underrated horror movies. So make sure you're tuned in next Monday for that episode. And you can find all about it on our Instagram, Twitter, all our other socials, our YouTube channel, and obviously the Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Joe, thank you for being here.
Hello.
Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Cook11Joseph, YouTube, Rebel Hoovium, Instagram, JoeCook_digital artist. And if you would like a commission, please send me a message. I've lowered my prices a bit because it's been a bit of a dry patch this month. But yeah, and also I'm on Letterboxd. I think it's just Joe Cook, but if you can't find me, I'll be on C1's or Xander's. So have a gander at that, and you'll find my little old face.
Amazing. And Siwan, thank you for being here, as always.
Pause. Or do you want me to say?
Where can the people find you?
Sorry. There's me. There's me. Hi, there's me.
Hi.
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at C101, but I don't exactly post much, but I post quite often on Letterboxd, which is C1Os. And yeah, you can find both Sandra and Joseph in my following.
Amazing. Thank you so much for listening again, guys. We really do appreciate it. And thank you for listening all the way through October. Thank you, Shay, for the theme. We love it. As always, check him out on Twitter, and the link is in the description. Next week, underrated horror movies. Prepare. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Derek.